What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to the show. As you can see, the interior of the Lexus needs a little bit of Martha Stewart. Unfortunately, the aftermarket support for our cars is slim pickings, but there is this one company called LRB Speed that makes products for our cars, especially on the inside, like a parcel shelf, rear seat delete, door panels, which they've graciously sent me. I was going to go ahead and try to make it myself, but that's not happening. They also make products for other cars like the RX-7, RX-8, Miatas, S13, S14, and the door panels are plasma cut on a CNC. They have options for whether or not you want to retain the speakers, whether you want the memory seats still in the vehicle, or if you want the window switches. I chose my panels to be entirely blank with the only option of the door strap. I picked red because, race car, obviously, and they've also included, hardware, conduit for existing wiring in the vehicle. Also, even something to reinforce the interior door handle, because with the leather door panel removed, that thing is just flapping in the breeze, held on by one fastener. So they've really thought this kit through, and it's not just a piece of aluminum sheet that's bolted to the door. So check it out while I install it. Alright, so here is my interior. It might look a little bit different than yours because all I will have in here is the door handle, which, as you can see, wobbles around, and they've got a solution for this. I will keep the window regulator. It's very nice to have. Definitely retain a door bar. I did remove this one brace that came from the factory. It was just screwed in. All the plastic clips are still in place because I don't know yet what this comes with exactly. Haven't had a chance to take a look at the instructions, but I did mark off some locations early on, which I thought I was going to remove just to shed some weight off the door, because these doors are beefy. Just look at the door hinge itself, and that thing is a work of art, to be honest. So, your door panel, or your door rather, might have a little bit more wiring than mine. The kit does include instructions on how to reroute the cables that's inside the door, but other than that, it's a pretty straightforward process. I'm going to show you what it looks like with the hardware in place. Okay, here she is, all mounted and buttoned up. I cannot believe my door looks like this. This is going to be sick. My interior is going to look like a freaking race car. I'm so stoked. A couple of things I might do is I might get a couple of more of these screws for this screw set. And this screw set, I'll drill a hole here and here. Maybe pick up like a spacer, a nylon spacer of some sort from Home Depot. That way this can be nice and secure up here while I pull on this door strap. Another thing I might do is bolt this on using the hardware provided by LRB. And I think that about does it. In the future, what I might consider doing is cutting a slit and feeding this strap through and bolting this directly to the door. That way it looks more like a Porsche or something, but I don't know how clean I can get that slot cut out in this aluminum. So I think I might keep it the way it is, but super impressed by this. I'm very excited. LRB makes a panel down here for the rear seat delete, as well as the parcel shelf up there, and a quarter trim. They make a couple more things like a sunroof delete, as well as a rear trunk floor. That's a lot of stuff for the SC. They make a front radiator delete thing, as well as a skid plate. They've got a lot of products for the SC, but guys, please check out LRB. LRBspeed.com. The link is in the description. You know what to do. On another note, I've got the crossover pipes for the turbo heat wrapped, and I've made a little bracket here that bolts onto the alternator bracket. I've got my fuel rails in, Holley Sniper EFI, as well as injectors. These are 80 pound per hour Siemens Deca 80 injectors. These are Dash 8 AN fittings. VSRacing.net wastegate, 7665 turbo. cut a hole in this panel right here, nice and clean. I might do like a 90-degree and straight into the radiator, sorry, into the intercooler. What else I got? The tricky part is getting these radiator hoses to this port and this port, because this is 1 1/4, this is 1 1/2, this is 1 1/2, and that down there is 1 3/4. So it's a very peculiar setup, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of mixing and matching. I will use these adapter things. You can tell it's basically turned on the lathe using aluminum, 1 1/4 to 1 1/2, and 1 1/2 to 1 3/4. So I'll have to get pretty creative and scrappy with this. But yeah. Oh, also, I drilled a little 1/8 MPT port, or is it 1/4? I forget. I think it's 1/4 MPT. So this steam port can be looped over here. So this is the belly side of the gas tank, and these are 3 ports. One is for, I think it's for a vent, one is for a feed, one is for a return. And basically, I'm no longer using these because in order to fit AN fittings onto this, I would have to take the OEM banjo fitting, which is specific to this gas tank, and it is a unique part. There is no aftermarket banjo that will fit in here, because there is also a dowel fitting that basically clocks the banjo in a certain position, and it goes through. So I will be using AN fittings on the top of the tank that goes to the Weld 450. I'm going to plug these, and in order to do so, I have to weld the gas tank. Keep in mind that welding gas tanks are extremely dangerous. This gas tank has been empty and vacant of any fluid for over a month now. I've also flushed it with soapy water. I've got these random, I honestly don't know what these are from. I don't know if I need them. But I cut the ends off, and the idea is basically it's going to screw into the banjo threads. I'm going to drive it down as far as I can till it's flush. That way I have something to weld on, and I'm going to fill in this little tiny opening as well, because that goes through into the tank and will be a leak. So I'm going to weld these 3 ports, and that should be it. Oh, for the fuel pump, I want to show you what I'm using. So I'm using a Weld 450. This is the stock hanger. The hanger originally had a fuel line, a hard line that goes to it and into one of these service caps. But as you can see, the difference between the stock, so normally, where's my stock fuel pump? I have no idea. Anyway, the stock fuel pump does not have this larger diameter bottom. It's pretty much the size of this top portion of the Walbro. As you can see, the Walbro 450 has a bigger bottom, and in order to fit, I basically put a rivet through a worm clamp and through the hanger, and now it's firmly in place. This is not going anywhere. I'm pretty proud of this, honestly. So yeah, this should move enough fuel to support, I think, 700 horsepower out of one pump. Normally, you know, people would use 2 Walbro 225s in order to make that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So that's what I'm doing for fuel. All right, I let the smoke clear, and thank God I'm still alive. It's all welded up. I took a wire brush to it and smeared all this goop, this molten goop all over the place, so that's why it looks like shit. But it does look like it's welded up pretty nicely. I haven't put any water in it yet, but I'm banking on the fact that it's good to go. So there you have it. Sealed up gas tank.